What's up, guys? Derek here with Fantasy Football Advice coming at you with another mock draft Monday. So, if you watched yesterday's mock draft, it was through ESPN, 10 team standard. You would have known that I got the short straw drawn. One of my leagues actually released the draft position. It ended up being 12 out of 12 in 12 out of 12, yeah, in a 12 team zero point 0.5 PPR draft. It makes it a little difficult because I can either draft PPR, I can draft standard. I think PPR is closer to zero point 0.5 than standard, but I guess technically if it's zero point 0.5, it's literally split down the middle. But I'm going to do a PPR draft because I think in standard people value players who just maybe don't have touchdown upside a little bit more. So, or I'm sorry, they value them a little bit less. But anyways, I'm drafting this position basically as if this were my draft. That's why I'm doing Fantasy Football Calculator. I still think even though ESPN's making strides, it's still a little bit more accurate. And I know last time I did a Fantasy Football Calculator draft, you guys said you couldn't see it, so I made sure to zoom in extra far. So if you can't see this, you should probably get some new glasses because I am basically blinded out front of this monitor right now. But my plan going into this, I've done a couple of these. Normally I only do mock drafts for mock draft Mondays, but as soon as I heard that I had this 12 spot, I was pretty upset and I went straight to the mock. Like, what can I do? Because that's the one position I really didn't practice. I practiced the beginning of the draft, I practiced the middle. My personal preference was I want to pick 7 through 9. Those are, I could either get, Jordy, AJ Green, LaShawn McCoy. He was my biggest target, and that's basically why I wanted that position, was for LaShawn McCoy. And yeah, that's all through the window. So now at 12, I've came to the realization that, and let me know, whoever else has the 12th pick and has been practicing in this pick for a long time, please let me know. I need all the advice I can take too. But from what I've done, from what I've tried to do, I found you need to go running back. First pick, running back. Second pick, running back for sure. I've tried it every which way. My teams always suck unless you do that. My teams haven't came out fantastic doing running back, but at least they're more well-rounded. I found when I get, because there's really good receivers at the turn. I mean, I've seen Jordy drop. I've seen, you easily get Michael Thomas, but I wouldn't really put it any further than that. But because of the emphasis on running backs, I was getting a lot of Jordy, Michael Thomas, or Michael Thomas and DeMarco Murray, or Jordy and Jay Ajayi, and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, okay, these first two picks aren't bad. But then you go 24 picks later. By 24 picks later, I normally see I get a pick from, I wish I got a pick from Demaryius Thomas, but I didn't. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So we got DeMarco Murray, Jay Ajayi. Now, I'm not going to be taking Ezekiel Elliott. It is pretty tempting. I am going to go DeMarco and Jay Ajayi. Draft player. Let's see. Yep. Draft DeMarco and draft Jay Ajayi. I think, by the way, haven't mentioned Jay Ajayi much, but I think that it does help Jay Ajayi that Jay Cutler's there, because, Jay Cutler, to me, is a better quarterback than Tannehill. Do I think that, Jay Cutler can win more games than Tannehill? No, but I think just for fantasy purposes, Jay Cutler does kind of bring his weapons up around him. I don't think in garbage time Ryan Tannehill is going to be the type to be able to bring him back from 2-score deficits. I know Adam Gase hopes they're not in that position, but I know Jay Cutler's done it before on the Bears for many years. Garbage time points. He was probably one of the founding fathers of garbage time before Mr. Blake Bortles, the garbage man, came along. But either way, real quick mention on Ezekiel Elliott taken by a computer, though, the only computer in this, 14th overall. And about the computers, believe me, I don't want a computer in this draft. I want this to be as realistic as possible. And the problem with Fantasy Football Calculator I've been seeing is not because there aren't enough people drafting. There are plenty of people drafting. They just have so many different options of drafts, like so many tweaks, auction, dynasty, rookie, all this stuff, 10, 14, 8, 12, all these types of leagues. And it's just, I feel like with all these options, it's hard to get just your state-of-the-art, 12-team PPR full. This was the third one I tried to get in. 11 of 12 was the closest I could get. And that's where we are now. So back to what I was saying. Yeah, Jay Cutler, the old school garbage man. should be able to help him. I mean, Matt Forte was the running back for most of his career, if not his entire career, while he was in Chicago, and as we know, was a fantasy stud. We've seen his production dip off since, leaving, an offense ran by Jay Cutler. I think that Jay Cutler has an eye out for a running back when it comes to broken plays and dump offs, and I think Jay Ajayi, while he hasn't been one to have a lot of receptions last year, if you go back to his college statistics, he actually had some catching ability in his repertoire, so don't count him out on that end. But that's enough about that. DeMarco Murray, Jay Ajayi, first 2 picks. I've been seeing a lot of that. The only person who I've been also getting I mentioned before Michael Thomas and Jordy, but I've kind of disregarded them because I want to go running back. The third person who I haven't spoken about yet is Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard is really the odd man out, I would say, out of those 3 for me. I just haven't found myself taking him. I've really normally, I've ranked these players, and I've normally only had to decide between one of the 3, and that's put me in an easy position to make that call. But when I've had 3 and having to choose who the odd man out is, I've been looking everywhere for some light at the end of the tunnel, anything to kind of tell me, this is the way you should go. And what always just feels good taking them is DeMarco and Jay Ajayi. So sorry, Jordan Howard. These are the types of decisions that come draft day, or not after draft day, but you make them on draft day, and then after like week 4 or 5, you're like, gosh darn it, why did I make that decision? I should have just picked Jordan Howard, because Jordan Howard is gonna go off for on pace for 2,000 yards and 14 touchdowns, whatever. Unrealistic, but that's kind of the fantasy luck that you have it. So like I said, once you take your first 2 picks on the wraparound, you're gonna wait a lifetime. So it's really no point in kind of getting an idea of who's gonna be around, because you have no idea who's gonna be around. In my experience, who has been around, it has been Demaryius Thomas normally gets taken right before mine. Terrell Pryor, same thing, right before mine. So there is a chance that you could have some players slip. I'm gonna look at wide receiver, because I'm going wide receiver. I'm not going wide receiver 0. Sammy Watkins was always an option to take as my first wide receiver. Now that is just gone. I'm not gonna take my number 1 wideout from the Rams. But Terrell Pryor, Demaryius Thomas I just said, but I think he just got taken. Let's see. Yeah, Demaryius Thomas got taken much earlier in this draft. He actually got taken right after Brandon Cooks. So interesting. So Tyreek Hill made it into the 3rd round as well. That's another interesting move. Yeah, Keenan Allen's the guy who I hadn't been touching with my first overall wide receiver pick. Now, Martavis Bryant I love. I'm probably going to end up getting him as my wide receiver 2. So the real decision is who I'm going to take as my wide receiver 1. I'd really hate for it to be... I would love for it to be Pryor. I really would. But I don't think that's happening. I would hate for it to be Allen Robinson, though. Allen Robinson, to me, is a guy you want as like your wide receiver 2 at best. Oof. So now I'm in a tough spot. I mean, Michael Crabtree wouldn't be the worst pick in a PPR league. Yeah, see, I'm just screwed. So I think I'm gonna go high upside, safe floor guys. So I got to do kind of that mix and match thing going. So it's gonna be either Golden Tate or Michael Crabtree. I'm gonna go Michael Crabtree in this situation. We do. Believe me, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel good. I think actually I do have to. I want Martavis Bryant, but believe me, I've never drafted Alshon Jeffrey. I never have. But I think he's the pick here. Believe me, I love Martavis too. It's between Alshon and Allen Robinson. I have to go with talent. I've never drafted Alshon in a mock draft. I hope this doesn't bite me. Never drafted him. See, this is the tough stuff I'm getting into with these stupid wraparound 12 pick. Oh, I didn't. Did I take him? Yeah. Okay. Oh man, that hurt so bad. That hurts so bad. I probably would have felt better now seeing Marshawn Lynch fall this low. Probably would have felt better taking DeMarco Murray instead of Jay Ajayi, getting a Michael Thomas. So it'd be DeMarco, Michael Thomas, Michael Crabtree, Marshawn Lynch. See, that might have felt better. I don't know why. It's just, you ever draft these players and you're like, that just doesn't feel good. It's the same thing whenever I draft, let's see, think of some examples. Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy is a good example. That just doesn't feel good. Allen Robinson's been recently giving me that kind of feeling. But he's won me some money back then. Let's take a look. Shout out to these guys. We got shout out to T talking about Brady and Rodgers would be gone in first round. I won back-to-back years. I do this. Okay, so you take your quarterback in the first rounds. Now that he mentions it, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady went super early. Now Drew Brees is gone. Good value on Golden Tate. If you can get Golden Tate in the 4th round in a 12-team PPR, that's good. Historically, Tate has kind of been hot and cold, so you know that's what you're going to get. Ty Montgomery, I think, is a great 4th round pick, especially towards the back end. We expect him to get, high receptions. We just want to see him take that next step as a rusher. Jarvis Landry, that's a risky pick. Remember what I mentioned earlier with Jay Cutler. Danny Woodhead, wow, what a climb. What a climb. 4th round. You'd think you used to be able to get good value on him, not anymore. So now that there's only 12 picks for me, I guess I can start to get an idea. Wide receivers, fine. I definitely think my wide receivers are weaker than my running backs, but as we all know, in the 2017 season, wide receivers are a dime a dozen. Running backs, on the other hand, if you don't get them early, you're not going to get one at all. So I will keep an eye out for one more well-rounded running back. My player, Martavis Bryant, has not been picked. I can almost guarantee he will be picked before it reaches back to me for the back of the 5th. If he's there, though, that would really be a gift. I love Larry Fitzgerald this late, 5th round. Sammy Watkins still is an option. I think he will probably be ending up auto draft by the computer, though. Nope, he actually did get taken by a man by the name of Isotopes. So let me look at some running backs. Amir Abdullah, I really like. I wouldn't mind taking Amir Abdullah with my 6th round pick on the wraparound. So Martavis Bryant and Amir Abdullah would be great. Also, Martavis Bryant and Bilal Powell. I think actually we have Bilal Powell ranked ahead of Amir Abdullah, so I think I'm going Bilal Powell and Martavis. I could be crazy and go both Bilal Powell and Amir Abdullah, but I have a feeling Martavis will be taken anyway. So Diggs is a great PPR guy. We've been asked who to take more over Crowder, Diggs, or Snead. That's really tough because they're both very similar players. Okay, so it looks like Martavis to get taken and Bilal Powell got taken right before me. Stupid computer. I had to take Martavis. I'm going to go Larry Fitz. And I'm going to go Amir Abdullah. Dang, the 2 that I wanted more got taken. But that's just how fantasy works. Yeah, so anyways, they're saying who to take, Stephon Diggs, Willie Snead, or Stephon Diggs, Willie Snead, or Jamison Crowder, right? Who out of those 3? When I first started the season, I first heard that question. It was not Willie Snead. It was Jamison Crowder every day because he was the guy out of them. Similar skill set. Jamison Crowder caught less passes. However, his touchdown upside was much higher. I said that's one of the things that, that Stephon Diggs and Willie Snead just don't have. They don't have that touchdown upside. And that Jamison Crowder had that, so I said Crowder all day. But as the season wore on, it changed to Diggs, right? Diggs has more recently been my guy out of the 3 that I'm leaning on. But that's mostly because, we had that injury, hamstring from Jamison Crowder, and you just don't want to You don't want to hear that. But now I'm actually thinking it's Willie Snead. Willie Snead is quietly caught up to them in ADP. But look how crazy close these players are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All three players were picked within 5 picks of each other. Now, just keep in mind, we're telling you, get one of these guys. Get one of these guys. Pick the guy that you like the most. Pick the guy in the offense that you trust. I mean, clearly the offense you trust is New Orleans, but Minnesota is safe in its own way. Washington is also safe in its own way. So, I mean, just pick the one that you think, is the most safe for your team. Each of them provides similar upside, similar floors, but you're not going to be able to more than likely get both of them. I theoretically could have gotten both of them with my 5th and 6th round picks. I could have went Stephon Diggs, Willie Snead, or Stephon Diggs, Jamison Crowder, or Willie Snead, Jamison Crowder. I could have went and did that technically, but more than likely, unless you have a wraparound pick, you're probably only going to get one of them because they're all going off so close within each other. Another thing worth mentioning about this draft is that normally in fantasy football calculator drafts, you see more talented drafters, I would say. You have less quarterbacks being taken early, but in this case, I'm just seeing a lot more quarterbacks taken earlier than I would think. Kirk Cousins really hurts me that he's gone because he would have been a target for me. Let's see. Eric Decker I like. Too early for Devontae Parker. I like him a lot too, but I like him later. Eddie Lacy, another one that makes me sick to my stomach to draft. It's me, Tyler Eifert. Man, I know a lot of tight ends taken. Alright, so let's find the value. Eric Decker for sure I'm going to take. We got a QB, Jameis Winston, Kyle Rudolph. I know you guys are going to say it's too early. What is that, my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, my 8th round pick. You guys are, I know you're going to blast me. Okay, so I'm not going to do it. I want him so bad. I'm not going to get him now. I need a running back. Eddie Lacy. It has to be Eddie Lacy, though. That's the part that sucks. You know what? I'd rather not take Eddie Lacy. Who do I got? Amir Abdullah, DeMarco J.J. I'm fine with that. I'm only going to start 2 anyway. How much time do I got? 23 seconds. Yeah. I want Rudolph, man. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of want Rudolph. I'm taking him. Don't hate me for it. Rudolph is going to be a beast. He's a PPR guy with upside in the touchdown department. He did finish his TE2 last year. Give him a break. I know we don't advocate taking tight ends early, but I mean, look, there's only what 1, 2, 3, 4 teams without a tight end at this point. You're not gonna get much. I know that's saying get value, but what? It's between Kyle Rudolph or Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy, who I'm clearly not going to start. We don't even know if he's going to start. I think right now Thomas Rawls is probably, out of the two, the better pick. CJ Process clearly is the safest pick out of them because at least no matter who starts technically on 1st and 2nd downs, he will have a role in the offense. But you're telling me not to take Kyle Rudolph. Did you see the running backs there? I'm going to, take Frank Gore? Yeah, maybe Kareem Hunt, Duke Johnson, Jaquiz. These are all guys I'd like to take later. Tyrell would be a great pick to get next. Will he come back? That's another question. I really doubt it. People are sleeping on him still. Don't ask me how. People are, though. See, Thomas Rawls, look, before Eddie Lacy. Thomas Rawls went before Eddie Lacy. That's stuff you're going to see. This is the nightmare that we are in, that we call preseason. You just never know. And plus, right after I took him, look, Delaney Walker and Zach Ertz. Trust me, I want no part in either of them. Delaney Walker has been great, for the past few years or so, but, well, actually he's been great his whole career. But look at all the weapons that they added in. Like, Eric Decker's going to take touchdowns, and that was basically Delaney Walker's thing, was hopefully get in there for a touchdown. He's not going to be a huge yardage guy. Still up in the air on exactly where I value Rashard Matthews. He actually may be one of my picks in this draft. I will, however, keep an eye out on running back still. I don't mind Matt Forte. I don't mind him at all, actually. Not late in drafts. Darren McFadden, not really worth a pick all that much. I'd say maybe he's a good match with Doug Martin, but they have such a tough rushing schedule. I love CJ Procise. I really want CJ Procise. I think out of all of the pass catching backs, Chris Thompson, actually, he's probably my favorite. I want to see who took Chris Thompson. Let's see if I can find him. I know he's valued much higher in in Fantasy Football Calculator, but I don't think he's been taken. Yeah, he's not. I wonder where he's ranked. We'll find out. Yeah, he's definitely great for like a weekly spot start. He's not going to make the top 24. You know, no pass catching specialist is without an injury. Let's see, who did I get? I got Procise. That's good. I can get Procise and Forte. I like those the best out of the ones that we have. Yeah, I think it's Procise and Forte. Let's see, wide receiver. Ooh, Marvin Jones, though. I gotta get Marvin Jones. Procise and Marvin Jones. Yeah. Procise and Marvin Jones. Let's see. I already got 4 wide receivers. I think I gotta go Procise and Forte. I love Marvin Jones, though, this year. I think we were just 1 year off on him. I did it. Procise and Forte. Alright, that's it for running backs. I'm good. Alright, I'm fine for now. Maybe like one late round rookie flyer, like a Jamal Williams or something, but he'll probably go way before a late round for me. Yeah, I mean, I've been drafting Forte here and there just because I think that the value's there. I don't think they're going to get that many opportunities to touch, but if they or to get a touchdown, but if they do, Forte is obviously going to be that guy. Back to Marvin Jones a little bit. He's been someone I think we were a year off on. We saw him start off the year hot. I think that initially shows you the capability that they can have as a quarterback wide receiver duo, and we saw the connection was there. Now, however, we did see the connection kind of teeter off. There was some rumors of potential hamstring injuries that Marvin Jones was having. One thing I do know is that Marvin Jones, out of the whole qualified receivers, he had one of the lowest percentages of catchable balls. So what does that tell you? That tells you that out of all the balls that were thrown his way, he had the lowest percent that were actually even catchable. Like if he extended out all the way, that basically means he was getting throwaways a lot. They were thrown way over his head, you know, kind of spiked towards the ground. He just wasn't given a fair opportunity. And as you know, confidence is a thing in the NFL. If he can't, you know, if you're just not on the same page, it's gonna be trouble for you. I'm just looking at some wide receivers now. So that just shows you the upside. It shows you, you know, you saw what he could do. You can have multiple touchdown weeks, 100 yards, whatever, and then it also showed you that he, by the end of the season, didn't have that. So he's gonna build back that relationship up with him, and I think this year he has a strong chance to do so. Now over to some wide receivers, maybe a quarterback. Oof, gotta take Tyrod before he's gone. Yeah, I'm running out of QBs. How many people are drafting 2? That's funny. Maybe I should have drafted one last round. 2 quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2 quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks. Gee, these guys are crazy. Now the only one I can see with an excuse to draft 2 quarterbacks is this guy here, because he has Ben Roethlisberger. You know, you need a quarterback for him. Why is Tom Brady needing a backup quarterback of Marcus Mariota? I don't know. Oh shoot, I'm still in the clock. That's right. What a dummy. Okay, Mike Wallace, I guess is the pick, huh? He's not really a PPR guy, but oh no, Josh Doxson. Josh Doxson, welcome. Yeah, Josh Doxson for sure. I'd rather take unknown upside than Mike Wallace. We kind of know what his upside was, and I think it was what it was last year. I don't think he sees as many targets last year because Steve Smith's missed games and Jeremy Maclin's coming in, and he's going to be playing the same role. So definitely don't see much more upside than what he did last year. His finish was like wide receiver 24 in PPR, or between 22 and 24. Yeah, that was good, but on a per game basis, he was pretty consistent. But he was consistently getting like 8 points. It was not fun. He had a few good games, the ones in which he scored touchdowns, because I think he only scored like 4 on the year. And I don't want no part of that, really. But back to these quarterbacks, like, why is everyone taking so many? I'm fine with Tyrod Taylor. I know he's gonna get a little bit of a decrease potentially in performance. I talked about that on the last video, the mock draft I did yesterday. But I still think he's super safe. What he can't do through the air, he's gonna make up for on the ground. So let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, this actually came out not bad. 5 wide receivers, 5 running backs, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end. It's pretty even. Now it's time to get some sleepers. Wouldn't mind taking some rookies right now. Marlon Mack I like. Alvin Kamara is not bad. Dante Foreman, DeAndre Washington. Take Marlon Mack if I can get him. Yeah, I'll take Marlon Mack. But I will tell you one thing. What I don't like so far is I don't think my team's just loaded with talent like it was before. Any other position, I really do feel like I'm able to get more talent on my roster. Still not sure who to take. Booker's not worth taking. Dixon definitely not worth taking. Running out of time here. Anquan Bolden not bad. Devin Funchess is probably the guy. Quincy Nunez done. I think my late round guy is going to be Devin Funchess. Do I need a kicker in defense now? I know this one I don't think it requires. Oh, what? Jacksonville Jaguars? I picked Devin Funchess. Oh well. I don't think this one forces you to take kicker and defense, but I'm not sure exactly how many rounds it runs, so I think I'd probably end up drafting 15 rounds. Yeah, I should have taken kicker and defense there. So let's see who I would have taken for defense. Let's see. Wow, did they really take Philadelphia defense? Someone? Giants? Wow, someone did. This is better. Someone finally gives some credit to Philly's defense. I would have taken Baltimore. Baltimore has a good defense. Or Atlanta. Atlanta is a good sleeper defense. But my only pick now is a kicker. Roberto Aguayo. He got cut. Isn't that funny? What a funny situation. He goes from being second round pick, they traded up to get him, most accurate kicker in college football history, to missing every shot he has in the NFL, to now he's cut and he is no one. And it's a sad story, but I mean, geez, that dude really just couldn't hit anything. He missed an extra point and a 47-yard field goal in their last preseason game. I saw them both. It was funny. Felt bad for the kid. He knew he was done after that, and there were reports he was looking good in practice. So it's just a sad story, but I don't know, maybe it's the nerves. I think kickers, a lot of it's gotta be nerves. Either way, real quick, since we're finishing up here, I'm just gonna go over my team. I'm on the far right side, 12th pick overall. We have DeMarco Murray, Jay Ajayi. We have Amir Abdullah, Matt Forte, CJ Prosise. By the way, I'm getting Dustin Hopkins kicker. CJ Prosise, and Marlon Mack. So let's break down those running backs. Marlon Mack, stash play. Not going to drop him to week 1 or anything like that unless I absolutely have to. If injuries just really hit my team or something, I'm just going to stash him, see how it pans out. Eventually I'd drop him, if he really doesn't look good. but if he's looking good and he's just waiting for his opportunity, I'll probably see it through. CJ Prosise spot start for sure. Matt Forte situational back. Amir Abdullah is going to be, the first one I'd look to fill in if anything were to happen with Jay Ajayi or DeMarco Murray. Also wouldn't surprise me if Amir Abdullah ends up starting the year as, a potential back-end RB1, up top-end RB2 could happen, not saying projecting it. I think he's definitely a back-end RB2, but I think a safe play on a week-to-week basis. Now, with my wide receivers, I definitely have a mix of safe floor and high upside. Highest upside being Alshon Jeffrey. The only problem is his floor is extremely low, so got to balance him out with Larry Fitzgerald, Michael Crabtree. Larry Fitz will actually probably be a wide receiver 1 in the first 4 weeks. He has an extremely soft passing schedule, and I would look to ship him off probably by week 6 in a trade deal. I would look to probably target the guy right here, Mr. Computer, who has Martavis Bryant. Maybe package Larry Fitzgerald, who will be a wide receiver 1, for Martavis Bryant and Stephon Diggs. Maybe throw in something like an Eric Decker, something like that. Maybe even a Matt Forte if he's looking good. Try to get 2 of those guys because I'm very high on both of them. He stole them away from me, but what can you do? So Eric Decker, extreme touchdown upside. He is a weekly flex play at worst. Kyle Rudolph, I'm glad I shored up that position because later than that, it was just a nightmare. I mean, technically I could have gotten Eric Ebron much later, but I think having the flexibility to just toss in Kyle Rudolph and just leave him in there week over week and not have to worry about that position really means a lot. Eric Ebron's kind of a little bit more injury prone. Kyle Rudolph was in historically, but not in recent years. I think he has definitely a safe floor each week and potential to, get that touchdown upside to be one of the top scoring tight ends each week. Tyrod Taylor gets a little shaky just because of the news that Sammy Watkins is gone. You lose a talent like Sammy Watkins, it's bound to hurt you. We hope that he makes it up with his legs, but then again, we don't know. Josh Doxson, Marlon Mack. Jacksonville defense, don't care too much about that. Let's see the defense I would have taken. Like I said, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, or Atlanta, all defenses I would have taken over them. Tampa Bay is also a good sleeper defense. Finally, kicker Dustin Hopkins, whatever, it's a kicker, who cares. Alright, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this edition of a mock draft Monday. I hope you like the team. I'm okay with the team. I need to do more work from the 12 spot. My draft's coming up. I think it's like Labor Day weekend or something, so you may see another mock draft coming from this 12 spot again. And please, if you drafted from this 12 spot, if you have this 12 spot and you are sharing my troubles, tell me in the comment section below what you've been doing and what strategies you can use, because I really need some help. I kind of got through into this and it was the last thing I was expecting, but we got to make the best of it. That's what we do in fantasy. So thank you all for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and we will catch you on the next one.